Kids, today's story is from Luke chapter 15. It's a story about a father and his sons. One day, the younger son came to his dad and said, "Dad, I want my inheritance and I want it today." Well, his dad was still alive, but his dad separated his estate and he handed his younger son what would have been his inheritance. This younger son took everything and he left. The older son stayed in his dad's house and he worked and he was loyal. But this greedy young man left and started partying and he started spending on wants, spending on needs, giving out to friends. Of course, he was probably popular and having lots and lots of fun and spend and waste everything that his dad had worked so hard for. It came to a point where he had nothing left. Nothing, not even food to eat. He was hungry. Plus, there was a famine in the land. He finally went and he got a job, and his job was taking care of pigs. And as his stomach growled and he thought about his life at home, and he said, even my father's servants, when they're done eating, they have leftover food. He said, you know something? I'm going to go home and I'm going to ask my dad if he could at least allow me to be a servant in his house, and in exchange, just pay me with food. That's how hungry he was. Well, this son, who had wasted everything his dad worked so hard for and was so inconsiderate and asked for his inheritance in advance and wasted it, he came home in shame. But when his dad saw him, his dad opened his arms and embraced his son and welcomed him home. He had his servants prepare the biggest meal to celebrate the return of the son that he loved so much. As this younger son had gone out and lived a crazy life, it was so sad. But his father, although his son had taken on different identities as he was gone, in the eyes of his father always saw him as the son that was deeply loved. He probably thought about him every single day and prayed for his safe return. This younger son, reminds me of you and reminds me of myself. There are many times in our lives we do not go with God's plan for our lives. And as you get older, you'll see it. You'll have different times in your life where you'll make decisions, say, why did I do that? But I want you to know that whether you are near or far, God sees you as his child who he deeply loves. Now, don't forget, there's another son in this story who stayed home, did the right thing, took care of the property and worked hard with his dad and never requested anything from his dad. When he saw the way his dad responded to his brother who had abandoned them, taken everything, wasted it all, he was upset. But his dad reminded him that, son, even though you were not far away and you've been close and doing well, don't think that I love this other son more than you. I love you just the same. You too are deeply loved. So let me remind you, no matter what, know that the love that God has for us, it's as far as the heavens are. It's as far as the east is from the west. It's unconditional. It does pay for us to do the right thing, because when we do the wrong thing, we suffer the consequences, like this young man did, where his job now was feeding the pigs, but he was so hungry, he wanted to eat the pigs' food. So we don't want to stray away out of God's plan where we have to suffer the consequences like that. But nevertheless, I want you to know that the love that our God has for us is unconditional. And you can't go too far where his love can't reach you. You can't go too low where his love can't reach you. You are deeply loved.